Hi, Dan Goodstein here. I head up media and events for IRPA AI. I'm joined today by Pete Guest. Pete's an RPA director at AstraZeneca. He's also speaking at our London Oasis Roadshow coming up on scaling an ROI within RPA and AI. Pete, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Dan. Good to see you.
So before we jump in, give us a little bit of background on your experience and your current role at AstraZeneca.
Yep, sure. Experience-wise, I'm kind of a bit long in the tooth in IT in that I'm probably 25 years plus, but predominantly in financial services. So most of my IT has been in the City of London. Most of that has been looking at either investments, so collective funds, mutual funds, and capital markets. So my experience with pharma is from the start of this year.
Okay.
So I've kind of gone from money to drugs, which is a good transition, and it's a fantastic one to have made. So I'm really enjoying it. With regards RPA and AI, my roles for a long time have been digital and innovation, and the last 4 years pretty much looking at RPA. And I've run RPA in 2 or 3 different organizations, setting up COE, creating the teams to run that, product selection. So, again, been there, seen it, felt the pain.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us a sense, why did you go to AstraZeneca and what are some of the current priorities there around RPA and AI?
Yeah, sure. I mean, AstraZeneca is a great company, and it's a growing company, which is a fantastic place to be, in that they have a very different view on value. So, within financial services, a lot of what I was doing was looking at FTE reduction, cost reduction. Within AstraZeneca, it's very much a case of looking for value. How can we make the organization more efficient, so that we can spend more time looking at those innovative medicines that we are creating for our customers, which is a great place to be and very, very different to financial services. Both worlds are great, but it's a very different world.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you. So it's a different world. You spend a lot of your career in the FS space. So how does that translate in this industry? How do you think about RPA or AI differently now in AstraZeneca than you would have maybe in the financial services space?
I guess there are a lot of parallels, which is why I've been able to hit the ground running and really enjoy it here. They're both highly regulated industries, and they're both covering some of the same regulations. So, Sarbanes-Oxley absolutely impacted the city, also impacting any large organization that's running sort of manufacturing, finance, everything else. So in that respect, a lot of parallels, a lot of places where the use of RPA is the same. So finance, HR, all of those back office type systems. Where it's been different in AstraZeneca is we've actually started to use RPA in science and R&D. And that's a really different space for me. So it's a fantastic place to actually be applying those skills and those technologies.
Yeah, no, it sounds very interesting. Well, hopefully you'll keep us in the loop throughout your journey. So I wanted to ask you, so many of our members have had sort of siloed success, if you will, with RPA and even starting to with AI. But the real struggle right now is to scale it enterprise wide. Do you find that this is common, and how have you achieved this in your current role or your past roles?
Yeah, no, it's a common problem. I've seen it in a number of organizations, and it's really that whole question of, if you want to get here, you probably didn't want to start here. And I think that the RPA, because a lot of the implementations started off as small proofs of concepts, almost with kitchen industries, didn't really involve IT because the vendors are very much selling it to the business. They discovered when they came to scale that you absolutely need to bring your IT partners with you. Otherwise, some of those things that don't matter if you're running 1 to 10 bots are absolutely imperative when you're running 50, 100 bots. So how do you do change management? How can you manage the changes to upstream and downstream systems to make sure that your bots aren't knocked out by somebody, making a monthly or even a 6-monthly change to an upstream system? If you're not notified, the bot blows up, and you're in that situation where you're having to remediate quickly for something that absolutely should have been done ahead of time. So there's some of the common pitfalls that I've seen where those two business partners, the IT guys and the business guys, have not been in sync. And I think if you get those guys working together, scaling becomes much, much simpler. Still not easy, but it becomes much simpler.
Any difference? Any difference between scaling RPA and AI from what you've seen?
RPA I have the most experience of and scaling. AI, most of the organizations I've been working with really are still in the early days.
Yeah.
So I think it's still a different game for AI. We are moving forward very much with a couple of proofs of concepts, more in the traditional place, the place where machine learning seems to be having its best value. So looking at invoice processing, purchase order processing, those back office finance pieces. But we are also looking at where that could be applied within science. So where have we got those use cases that we can apply some of that machine learning in science? And I'll be honest, as an organization that's very much science and R&D led, outside of RPA and the world that I'm immediately living in, we're doing a massive amount with machine learning and AI in the whole digital pharma world, where AI can be used to absolutely reduce the time it takes to get a drug to market.
Yeah, great. So, Pete, let's move to ROI, right? So ROI seems to be this thing that, well, I'll just say it. All the vendors talk about, and I find that the buy side struggles to really quantify. So is the ROI around automation really possible? At least measuring it, and my sense is there's many benefits, but it's tough to quantify them, even if it is just a cost saving exercise. And often the priorities change throughout the implementation, right? So how do you measure it? How have you had success with measuring ROI?
So the simplest ROI, as you say, is looking at reduction of headcount doing a task, and it's relatively straightforward, relatively simple to measure. What becomes more difficult with ROI is actually benefit realization. Yeah. So you've said that you're going to lose 5 hours of work in this department every month. Well, that's only a couple of fingers and a couple of toes of half a dozen people. How do you turn that into a real saving? How when you're talking to the FD, do you make him believe that you're actually going to save that money? So that financial ROI is one piece, and that actual realization of that ROI is something completely different. The other thing where ROI is really key for us is looking at those other benefits. Risk. Yeah. It is something that absolutely should be considered when you're looking at ROI. Financial services, risk is a big thing. Pharmaceuticals, risk is a big thing. Another big ROI for us is where you're looking beyond the risk and you're actually looking at mitigation of downstream effects. So is there going to be a fine involved with this? Is there going to be an additional cost because you've not done this on time? And those kinds of things are also rolled into that ROI case. Things that are more difficult to quantify are the softer things. So people, AstraZeneca as an organization, one of our core beliefs, one of the 3 core things that we're looking for is making AstraZeneca a great place to work. And actually putting in RPA can make somebody's working life so much better that it becomes a better place for people to work. Mm. They're getting up in the morning because they're going to work to think, to add value, not just to do data entry. They're not just there to key in information. Whether that's a lab technician taking information from an instrument and putting it in a lab notebook, or whether that's actually somebody in a more traditional back office function, taking information from a spreadsheet and pasting it through into the core financial GL system. So it's improving people's working lives. Really difficult to quantify, but absolutely something that should be looked at in that ROI calculation.
No, but it's a great point, and we hear it a lot as one of the benefits of this stuff. But it's good to hear it actually coming to fruition within a large organization, right? So, okay, my last question is around this question that we get asked a lot, which is, do I buy, do I build, do I partner? How do I get this work done, right? So I know you guys have a center of excellence there. Yeah. but you've also managed a lot of outside vendors and outsourcing arrangements throughout your career. Any advice to those listening as to the right balance of what you do in-house versus what you leverage third parties for?
For me, and for the last two pieces of work I've done, we've actually used outsourced partners to do those areas of work where we have the best sets of procedures already in place. So if you've already got a great set of procedures, if you've already got a fantastic big business model, brilliant opportunity to use a partner. It's very simple, therefore, to explain to the partner what you need, and you can give them those instructions, you can give them that information. Even better if that partner is already running that process. So if you've already got a partner BPOing some outsourced financial services work, great opportunity to work with them to get those processes automated. And I've found that work really well. Where we tend to have kept the work in-house are those things where it's got either more of an impact or there's more of a risk. Yeah. So it's things that have got a regulatory risk. It's things that can only be done in certain jurisdictions. It's things that are really adding value to you as a company. And those are the ones that we've found best to keep in-house. They're the kind of the high impact areas. And some of them can be quite simple, but they still have a massive impact to your business. So I would always look to keep those in-house because you have the opportunity to be more nimble. You have the opportunity to use some of that agile practice to get work to the guys actually out on the floor very quickly and show value. Whereas working with the outsourcers and the BPOs, a lot of it is invisible. A lot of it is going to be seen flowing through as an ROI, but it often doesn't have that same impact on the people within your organization.
Oh, great. Makes sense. Pete Guest, thank you so much for joining us and looking forward to see you in London at our roadshow.
You're welcome. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Pete. Bye-bye.